All right, everybody, how you doing today? Excited. It's a nice spring day where I'm at. I hope it is where you are as well. Excited for so many of you to be with me today. We are going to get into some important things about hard money. A lot of people, Eric's even been asking a few questions here about how to do the fix and flip, how to get started, and one of the most integral parts of that is the hard money itself and how hard money can help you in getting started in the real estate game in of itself. Most people don't even understand hard money, what it really means. And once they do, a light bulb usually goes off. So Eric, I'm excited to have you with us today. Want to make sure everybody can hear me loud and clear. Let me know if you're having any difficulty. Please post it on the chat here. Want to make sure that everybody can hear me, and I appreciate so many of you being with me live. It's fantastic to have you with me. This is a place where you can ask questions and really where we can help each other be successful with real estate investing. Okay, guys, let's just jump right into this. What is hard money and how to get it to invest in real estate? And I think the second part of this is maybe more important than the first, how to get it and how that can help you in real estate investing. That's one of the most important things that we're going to be chatting about today as well. Let us know if things are coming through on my end. It's kind of strange. I'm getting a offline signal, so give me 1 second here. I just want to make sure that everything's working. Kate, okay, good. I don't know, it's weird. On mine, it's showing an offline, so it's freaking me out a little. But Riley says we're good, so we're gonna press on. Okay, so what is hard money? How to get it, and how it can help you with your real estate investing? That's what we're gonna be covering here. So, what are we gonna talk about today? Okay, finding properties with burnout landlords. Every single week we do a property finding tip of the week. We're gonna talk about that today. We're gonna talk what hard money is, and we are going to talk a lot about when you should use traditional loans, when you should use hard money, what's the right place for each thing so that you're using the right tool in the toolbox. And that's one of the things I really think about with real estate investing is the more tools you have in the toolbox, the more deals you're going to be able to have, which is one of the reasons why coming to live trainings like this, our live cast, is so helpful. We're going to talk about why is hard money so expensive. We get asked that question. Why is it more expensive than a traditional loan? Why is it so much more? So we're going to talk about that. So if you're new, like Eric, I think you're new. Riley, I don't know if you're new or not, but we're super excited for you to be here. Let me know if you're here for the first time. This is kind of our agenda for the day. Every single Tuesday we do this. We do welcome and updates, real estate news. We do a property finding tip of the week. We do a topic of the week, which today is about hard money and how to get it and how to use it. We do a free t-shirt giveaway every single week. And then I give a free tool of the week, something that you can actually use, take, and start using right away. This show's for entertainment purposes. Before making any financial moves, you want to consult with a real estate professional, attorney, CPA, or other professionals in the subject matter. Everybody's situation's different. There's not a one-size-fits-all approach. DHM may receive payments on the show for sponsorships, guests in the forms of books, giveaways, items, discounts, or other remediations. As with anything in life, results come from education, following a system, hard work, determination to follow through until the end. Let's see here. Gaynell says hello. She's been here before. Riley, watched a video earlier today and enjoyed the content. Riley, thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate it. Okay, welcome. Please, for those of you that are with us, please give us your first name and the city and state you are investing in. This is really important. Part of the training, some of the things I do, some of the things we'll look at today, I like to tailor to where you're investing. So it's really helpful. So if you haven't already, and for those that have said hello, please let me know where you're investing. And if you're listening to the recording of this, please join us live. Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I do this as a live cast. And so I'd love to have you. Our t-shirt giveaway, what we're going to be giving away every single week. We've been doing our COVID mask, our COVID Do Hard Money mask. So send one of those your way. And then I've got some great t-shirts. This one is our I Flippin' Did It shirt. That's what we're going to be giving away. That's this week's giveaway. Last week's winner is actually getting our I Made It Through Rehab shirt. So we're going to be sending that out as well as one of our DHM masks. So we've already decided last week's winner. The winner for last week's decided. They're in the slides, and we're going to be announcing it today. So at the end of the live cast, we announced last week's winner. So if you want to win, starting now, you could be the winner for next week. What we're looking for is people that are asking great questions. So Riley, if you want to ask some great questions, this is how you're going to win that T-shirt of the week. We're looking for high interaction in the chats, both on the live version and also on the recorded versions. You can take a look. After we do this as a live, it turns into a video, and tomorrow you can go back and rewatch it, rewind, go back to other places, and comment on the recorded video. And each week we'll choose one winner, and that winner will become our T-shirt winner of the week. We'll announce the following week. Let's see. Riley's in Chattahoochee, Tennessee. Isn't that an Alan Jackson song? Let's see. How's the market? There we go. Okay. Fantastic. If you like these live casts and you want to see them continue, I really need your help. We are closing in a monumental 5,000 subscribers. Super excited about that. So currently my goal is 5,000. We're at 4,920. By the end of this month, by the end of April, my goal is to be to 5,000 subscribers, to pass that 5,000 mark. So I've got 80 more subscribers I'm looking for this month. It's free to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to do that. You just hit that little subscribe key. And what's cool about it is every single day I'm putting out a video. Riley said he watched a video earlier today. I do videos like the best rehab projects, or contacting the property owner, finding out who the property owner is. So those are things that I do every day. Now, those are 5 to 7 minutes. If you're a subscriber, you'll get notified when those come out, and you'll get those absolutely for free. Also, when you're a subscriber, you'll get reminded of the live cast that we're doing as well. So please, please, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification to our Do Hard Money YouTube channel so you can get all this. And if you really like it, please tell somebody else about it. It's the biggest compliment you can give me, is telling somebody else about our channel. Okay. Let's see. Wayne in Chicago trying to find a deal. Wayne, hopefully some of our Burnout landlord stuff we're going to go over today is going to help you find a deal. Let's see here. Galen, looking good. All right. You notice I shaved, Galen? Is that what you're referring to? If you like the shaved look rather than the bearded look, let me know. My boys like my beard, but it's summertime, or springtime, I should say. So let's see here. Awesome. What you'll get today, our free giveaway that we're doing today is, I wrote a book, How to Get More Money Than You Can Ever Handle, a real estate investor's guide to funding deals. I'm going to send you, it sells on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Borders. I'm going to send you an e-copy of that book. It usually sells for $20 or $25. You can get a free copy of that. I'll give you a link at the end of the live cast where you can download that and get it absolutely for free. All right, let's talk about the real estate market update. What's happening out there? Let's see, who is saying they were having a hard time finding a deal? Let's see, who was it? Wayne. I'm sorry, Wayne, saying, hey, I'm having a hard time finding a deal. You're not alone, man. And there's a lot of homeowners that are having a hard time finding a deal. We're going to talk about that. Scott, thanks for being with us. Love the 2 thumbs up. Let's talk about what's happening in the overall market. Biden's tax proposals could impact real estate investors. One thing business owners are able to do is what's called a 1031. Under the IRS code, you're able to defer taxes on an exchange. This really applies if you are a landlord, or if you're holding a property for more than a year and a day. This is going to have a major impact if it does happen. Biden's campaign team noted last summer that his administration would target like-kind exchanges. Now, this hasn't happened yet, but it's a proposal, and it's something I'm concerned about, something we need to be on our radar. Another big item under consideration is the ability for non-residential real estate owners to depreciate improvements. The president has proposed eliminated bonus depreciation rule for commercial property, which is basically reverting to a 39-year depreciation rather than depreciating it accelerated, which is a big deal. So that's something that we're keeping in mind as well. All right, there are more real estate agents than there are homes for sale. Wayne, this is one of the problems, which is why you've got to be going after off-market properties if you want to have success right now. It's just, you're not going to find this competing against homeowners that are making 50 or 70 offers. How the U.S. home market was rocketed by COVID-19 and where do we go from here? The lack of existing homes was only part of the problem, though. Builders have struggled to ramp up construction on new homes, particularly the most popular single-family models. Let's see here. Once the foreclosure memorandum ends, homeowners who haven't been able to financially rebound from the crisis may be forced to sell their homes. This could also add to the supply of properties on the market. This will help alleviate scarcity. The housing boom that never ends already wiped out all the short sellers when COVID-19 hit. Even Canada's own National Housing Agency seemed sure this was going to be the end. Well, we know that's not the case, but instead the market went on another record year, even surpassing the gains in the red-hot U.S. market. Do we have any Canadians in the house today? If so, leave a comment. Love to know that. Denver real estate agent says offers for $90,000 to $100,000 over asking price, and they still lost the deal. What does this mean? It means they offered $100,000 more than the person was asking, and they were not the winning bidder. They didn't bid enough money. This is absolute craziness. In this type of market, you want to be the seller. You don't want to be the buyer. So how can we buy properties that we can sell with that? We're going to talk about that here in a bit. Where have all the housings gone? The inventory of homes for sale is startling low. The pandemic is part of the reason, not the whole reason here. You'll see this is back in 2015. We're basically looking at 1.1 million houses on the market. 2016, we jump up to about 1.5. 2017, we're at a low at about 1 million. 2019, we bounce back up to about 1.1. 2020, before we start 2019, we're basically looking at 1.2. And now we're down to about 468,000 homes. Now, these are homes that are listed on the multiple listing services. It's the only way they can track those. So that's what they're talking about here. Mortgage delinquency in November fell to their lowest level since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Just under 6% of all U.S. homes, 2.7 homeowners, were in this early stage of delinquency. This could be an opportunity for us, guys. We got to keep a close eye on that. Mortgage delinquencies in November fell to their lowest level. At some point, these will turn into pre-foreclosure properties. 2.72 homes remain in active foreclosure now. February 2021 monthly housing trends monthly report: more than 200,000 new listings are missing from the U.S. housing market. This is our March housing report. National inventory declined by 52%. Newly listed properties declined by 20%. The March national median listing price was $370,000, 15.6% compared to last year. Large metro areas saw 1,215% increase, and average time on market went down. Is that a surprise to any of you? What are you seeing in your area right now? I'd be interested. Please type it in the comments. Housing market stays tight as homeowners stay put. The typical homeowner in 2020 had remained in place for 13 years, up slightly from the 12.8 years in 2019, and well ahead of 2010's reading of 8.7 years, according to the new analysis by real estate brokerage Redfin Corp. The U.S. housing market, high demand will continue to keep prices high, estimating range 2 to 6%. Basically, what we're saying is 2 to 6% is what the estimate of what houses will be going up for this year. Daniel Hell is saying we're going to settle somewhere between pre-COVID and during COVID house pricing. What are you seeing in your area, guys? Type it in the comments. I'd really like to know what you're seeing. All right, let's jump into our property finding tip of the week. Every single week, I like to do something you can use, something tangible, like Wayne that's saying, I'm having a hard time finding properties. Well, every single week in this live cast, I talk about a new and unique way of finding properties. And so this one we're going to talk about here is number of properties owned. Okay, this basically tells us how many properties one individual actually owns. Do they own one house? Do they own 5? Do they own 10? Do they own 2? What do they actually own? So what does this mean? What does it mean to us? It means it's either a second home or it's an investment property. That's what we want to do. So how do we target these to make sure? So many people are not cut out to be landlords. They're not willing to follow a good system of being a landlord. They get walked all over by their tenants. And so landlords we can find. And how do we do that? We can find landlords that are just trying to dip their toe in the water. What does this mean? It means somebody bought a property, but they're not really committed. They're just trying to fill it out. We can find landlords that are burnt out landlords, meaning they've done it and they are so tired of it, they'll give the house away. We can find landlords that are going through divorces. We can find landlords that are retiring. Those are the types of things. So let's say we're trying to find these guys that dip their toe in the water. This is someone they purchased their first rental property. When we search for this, we want to make sure it's not in second home zip codes. What does that mean? So for example, I live in Utah. There's a place called Park City, Utah. It's pretty famous. You've probably heard of it. A lot of movie stars live up there, right? So rumor is that Will Smith has a house up there. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, if you're my age. So you've got that, right? So how do I make sure? Well, I know that Park City is a high-end place. Let's just don't even go to Park City. Let's go to neighborhoods or zip codes that I know most people aren't going to have a second home in. So that's basically what I'm doing, is using common sense to make determinations on zip codes that I don't want to be going after. And I can also do this by checking my cash buyers list in the area. We have a whole training of figuring out where the cash buyers are, and based upon that, then targeting those properties where there's a lot of cash buyer activity, which is basically telling me there's lots of investor activity happening in that area. For those of you that are members, it's under our finding, and you can find it under our Driving for Dollars. It's the first step in Driving for Dollars campaign. Most people are going to buy a second home only in certain neighborhoods, so just don't search those zip codes as we talked about earlier. Many times these investors don't like being a manager and want to unload the property. That's what we're looking for. People are just saying, hey, I just want to get rid of this thing. So this is especially true if the tenant has done damage to the property, or if they get hit with some repairs and they are scared about unexpected bills coming in the future. So let's just say, hey, let's say there was a plumbing problem. They had to spend $5,000 fixing the main line, or $10,000. They may say, you know what, I'm so tired of this rental property. The AC could go out soon. Something else could go out later. I just don't want to have this liability. I just want to get rid of this thing and get rid of it while I can. Maybe they're underfunded. Maybe they bought the property and they just don't have the $10,000, so they had to take out a loan for that. And now their loan payment on it is more than the cash flow they're getting, and they're saying, I just want to get out of this property. I'd be very interested for those of you that are listening live or the recording. Have you ever dealt with a burnt out landlord? Have you ever dealt with a property we've had a burnout landlord? I've been a burnout landlord myself. I've watched my mom be a burnout landlord. I've gone to the other side of it where now I love landlording. As a matter of fact, we just raised rents again today, which is a great day if you're on the landlord side of this. So burnt out landlords, this is something that they've been doing it for a while. They've gone through a few sets of tenants. They've reached out at some point and they're just plain done. They're just like, I am just done with this. I do not want to be a landlord anymore. Okay, now let's go after these divorced, right? Divorce, this could be somebody has properties with a spouse. Let's say the spouse has been managing that property and they own multiple properties. They now inherit one of those properties, or I shouldn't say inherit. They get one of those in the divorce decree. They have not been the manager of that property, and now they're saying, okay, I do not want to manage this house. So I don't want to be stereotypical, but let's say it's a husband and wife. Let's say the husband managed the properties. He was handy. He did a bunch of work on the properties. They're going through a divorce. The wife ends up with one property and the house on a rental property. He gets a house on a rental property. The wife's like, I do not want this property. Cash me out. Let's move on. That's the type of person that you could find or run into, and that could be either one. They now realize management is more work than they actually wanted. So they may have gotten it, then they're saying this is way too much work. Let's talk a little bit about retiring. This is a slumlord type situation, right? They've owned the property for a long, long time. They haven't done improvements. They put off some repairs. Typically, rents are under market to compensate for the poor condition of the property. They want to cash out, but they don't want to deal with rentals anymore. In these situations, the key is number of properties owned. How many properties do they actually own? So how many properties is that? It's going to be based upon area. So properties owned, if they own 2 or more, if you make sure it's not a second home, you can go after these. These would be somebody that wants to dip their toe in the water. 3 or more is somebody that's relatively probably going through a divorce or going through a retiree situation or is just a burnt out landlord. You're going to have to play the numbers based upon the areas that you're actually in. I don't think there's a wrong answer, meaning should you go after people that have 2 properties or more, or 3 properties, 4 properties? Look at your areas, look at what's there. Just realize people that have 5 properties are going to be different than people that have 2 properties, and you want to make sure if it's 2 properties that you're looking at areas to make sure you're not dealing with vacation homes. Guys, if you've got some questions, feel free to type them in the chat, whether that's live or on the recorded version, because I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Investor's Edge, let's show you how this works. Let's just give a real life example here, okay? You should be able to see my screen here. I'm just going to pick on Chicago. We maybe should have done Chattahoochee, Tennessee. Who do I have here from Chicago? Actually, I think Wayne's from Chicago. So, okay, Wayne, so we'll come here to Chicago, right? And what I want to know is I want to know number of properties owned. So I'm coming here to my filter, and on my filter, I'm going to ownership information, and I am looking at properties owned. And let's just say, we're going to say there's 2 properties that I'm looking for, okay? And then let's say the estimated equity on these properties is... we could do estimated equity or estimated value. So let's just say estimated value. I don't want to be over 550, and I want to make sure I'm not going less than 75,000. So this is what I'm basically saying is someone that owes 2 or more properties between 75,000 and 550,000. There are 238,000 properties where they own more than one. But let's turn here to estimated equity. I want to make sure they at least have $75,000 in equity, because I don't want to, be going after something where they don't have any equity. So now we're to 170,000 properties. So there's 170,000 properties that meet that criteria. We may want to say, instead of 2 or more, maybe we want to say ownership information. Let's just say 3 or more. Whoops, I just got out of that, unfortunately. Ownership information, and let's say 3 or more, and see what that does for me. It's going to quickly load here. That's 100,000 instead of 170,000. So now you're going to want to make sure we're this 101,000 are people that owe 3 or more properties. They're between the prices of 75,000 and 550,000, and they have an estimated $75,000 or more of equity in the property. The other thing I can look at here is say I do not want anything that is listed on the multiple listing service right now. So that takes me down to 99,000 from 101,000, took off a couple thousand properties from me. So now with this, now I can actually go market to these guys. If I want to take this list, I probably want to whittle it down by zip codes or areas and that type of stuff. And then really the next thing that I want to do is skip trace these. I can come in, once I save those contacts, I can show you real quickly. You just save these. And you can save a bunch of them if you want to. You add it to a list, create a new list. So let's just say testing. And we can just save that. And then with that list, I can come here and do a skip trace. It'll just do it right in the system. We use a third party for the skip tracing. Select my contacts right here. Select my group. Let's see which testing. I don't know which testing we were doing here. I don't want to skip trace all these properties, but let's just do a couple of these. Done. And then you can move forward. You put your payment information. You can do the skip trace on there. And then you can actually just make phone calls to them, which works out really, really well. And that's a great proactive way to start finding properties. And that's really, Wayne, you were talking about earlier, having a hard time finding properties. This is how you do it. You basically go and find these with ownership information where they own 2 or more properties, and they've got $75,000 of equity. It's $550,000 or less. Then you start marking this list. You skip trace, you call them, you do voice broadcast, postcards. I prefer calling. It does take some more time, but I think calling is the way to go. And then the question is like, what do you say? And you say, I'm looking for the owner of 123 Main Street. Are you interested in selling? That's really all there is to it. And then lots of times they'll say, yeah, I'm the owner. What do you want? Because they think you're a bill collector. And you say, I'm interested in buying a property. And then you see where the conversation goes from there. We actually have a whole script on some things to say that can be helpful for you. So we give that away in some of our other videos. So you're going to want to check those out. Okay, guys, what do you think of this? Have you gone after multiple owner properties, people that own more than one properties? If so, what have your results been? What have you found? What worked? What didn't? Please type it in the comments now. And also, I forgot to say this, but if you are a new subscriber to the channel, please type that in the comments below. I want to personally thank you for helping us reach our goal of our 5,000 subscribers this month. Okay, I got to grab a drink, and we are going to get into the main event about what is hard money, how to get it to invest in real estate. All right, guys. Let's do this. Again, as you have questions, that's one of the big benefits of being here live is as you have questions, you can just type those into the chat and I will get those answered as we go along the way. Soy says, thank you. You are very, very welcome. Okay. Who's ready to learn about some hard money? Let's do this. What is hard money, how to get it, and to invest in real estate? This is what you're going to learn today. What is hard money, when you should and shouldn't use it versus traditional loans, zero down hard money loans, why hard money is so expensive. Let's just start at the very foundation here of what is hard money. Hard money is really known as what's called asset-based lending. The whole concept of this is that the loan is done primarily based upon the asset, not against the person. So meaning if the loan is done against the asset and it's a loan against a house, they're looking at the asset as the house, not the personal credit profile. It's completely opposite of a bank. A bank is looking at the personal credit profile and saying, what's the likelihood this person is going to be able to repay? Where a hard money lender is saying, how much value is in the property? Am I a good securitized position? So if I give the loan, I'm in a low probability of losing based upon that. It's just a completely different way of looking at it. So traditional loans, if you go to a bank or if you go to a credit union, let's just pick on Chase Bank, all right? I do some banking with them. They are going to look at a few things in order to give you a loan. They're going to say, do you have a job? If you say no, they're going to say that's a problem. They're going to ask you if you have a stable work history. They're going to ask you how much money you make. They're going to want to make sure you've been making that money over a 2-year period. They want to know how much you owe, how much your debts are, what you do in debt repayment. They're going to want to know your debt to income ratio. They're going to want to know your credit score. They're going to want to know your credit history. They're going to want to make sure you don't have any bankruptcies or collections or charge-offs. They're also going to want to make sure that you have enough money for a down payment. They're going to know that down payment is coming from. They want to know who's going to pay for the closing costs. They're going to want to know if you have cash reserves, criminal history. They're going to want to make sure the property will appraise for more than the loan amount. They're going to want to make sure the home is in move-in ready condition, meaning it's not a house that it's in need of work. The opposite of that is when you go to a hard money lender. So a hard money lender, asset-based lender, is basically looking at a couple things. One, criminal history. Do you have any felonies? Do you have any collections or bankruptcy? Not a full, is your credit score 720 or higher? It's, do you have any collections or bankruptcies? They're going to want to make sure the loan is 70% loan to value. Make sure you have a solid construction bid. Those are going to be the big things. So if you look at this again, this is a traditional loan and this is a hard money loan. Hard money loans looking for criminal history, credit, you don't have collections or bankruptcy, 70% loan to value, and a solid construction bid. This is the difference between traditional loans and hard money. Just to give you this overview so you know what you're dealing with here. And there's a place for traditional loans and there's a place for hard money. And you've got to understand the difference in those. And this is really what it comes down to. Most people don't understand that a bank will not loan on a property that's in need of repairs, in need of any work. This simply just adds more risk. See, they underwrite based upon the probability the person will be able to make the payments on the loan. And so if the property has some major problem that happens, they could run into a situation where they can't make payments on the loan because they just had to spend $5,000 fixing some major problem. So when they're doing that, they're going to be doing a visual walkthrough and making sure they think the property's in good condition. If the home's in need of work, this could cost them borrower money. This could jeopardize loan repayment. Not a situation where your traditional bank wants to do it. As a matter of fact, this is an FHA inspection form. If a property is getting financed through FHA, the appraiser goes there and goes through this, and this form basically asks them, is it in good condition, is it failing, or is it not included? If we get some no's, meaning it's failing, FHA is going to come and say, I'm sorry, we're not going to give a loan on this property. And that's the big thing. That's where this whole concept of investing comes in. You're going after properties that are in need of work. These properties cannot be purchased by a traditional buyer because the property's in need of work and a traditional lender is not going to give a loan on that property. Therefore, you're buying that property with hard money. You're then repairing that property into a condition where it can qualify for traditional financing. And then you've got one of two options. You either refinance that property and keep it yourself as a rental property, which is the BRRRR type strategy. I've got a great video all about BRRRRs. In addition to that, or in substitution for that, you can then list the property for sale. You find a new buyer. That buyer then gets traditional financing and they pay off your hard money loan and you make a profit. That's why there's an opportunity here, is because properties in need of rehab are not bankable loans with traditional lending, and that's why hard money comes in. This is more stuff. They're going through and asking, how's the plumbing? And now, this is not a substitution for a home inspection, right? This is basically the appraisers doing a walkthrough, and if they see anything, they note it down. That's it. And then the seller either has to fix it and spend the money to do that, or they have to sell to somebody that is not getting traditional finance. And most sellers don't have the time or money to put into the property, or the buyer just simply can't get a loan. So bad condition loans, this is where hard money comes in. Hard money is going after these homes in need of repairs at that point to get the home that needs work and get that fixed up. So if a home cannot pass an FHA inspection, it's going to require the seller to spend that money or to sell to a buyer that's going to get a hard money loan. So this whole question is why is it called hard money? It's called hard money not because it's hard to get. Hard money is actually pretty easy to get. Not hard to get. It's much faster than traditional loans. There's so much less paperwork. As we saw earlier, there's so many less requirements for you to be able to get a hard money loan. The majority of this is the conditions. There is so fewer conditions than there is with traditional type loans. It's called hard money, again, because this idea the loan is based primarily on the asset, the hard asset, not the soft asset. See, the soft assets are your propensity to repay, your income, your job history. Those types of things are called soft assets. Hard asset is going to be the tangible thing that's being lent on. Let's talk a little bit about down payment requirements. Traditional lender, they're going to require 3% of the purchase price. A conventional lender is going to require 5% of the purchase price, and a hard money is going to vary anywhere from 0 to 20%, depending. And then loan to value. Traditional loans are going to do a percentage of what the property is worth, loan to value. A hard money lender will typically lend on the after repaired value. This is a big, big difference. Your traditional lender is saying, what is the property worth now? And we'll lend 97% of that or 95% of it. A hard money lender says, what is the property going to be worth once it's fixed up? And we'll lend 70% of that. So there's a big difference here. So if you buy a property for $100,000 and you get $130,000 in loan for the property, so you have money to do the rehab. This is what you can see in a hard money loan situation. It comes down to the after repaired value on the property. That's really what it comes down to here. An example, if a home is worth $100,000 and the way it sits, a traditional lender is going to give you $95,000 to $97,000. If a hard money looks at the deal, they're going to say, what is the home worth after these repairs are actually done, and how much do you need in repairs? If the home's worth $100,000 once fixed up and it needs $30,000 in repair work, the hard money lender is going to lend you $70,000 or 70% typically. So if you buy the property for $40,000, that will leave you $30,000 for repairs. The buyer will need to come up with cash to close for closing costs or title fees or lender fees in this type of an example, which is a really nominal amount compared to coming up with a whole bunch of money. With that said, a lot of people are saying, well, how can I do this without having to come up with a bunch of my own money? And that's where we get into these zero down hard money deals. A traditional lender is going to always require 3 to 5%. A hard money lender is going to vary, but there are ways to do zero down deals. This is a deal that we did recently. You can see the borrower came up with $333.25, and it was a $255,000 loan. You can see here that fees and costs and those types of things to make the loan happen, as well as repair costs that were necessary to make this deal happen. But you can see it's very, very possible to do a zero down type of a scenario. And so this is us doing one just like this. It really comes down to buying a really good deal. This is not always the case. You got to plan to bring some money to the table or plan to have a way to bring some money on the table. And because of this, I put together 17 ways you can get 100% financing. It was a live cast that I did a while ago. I'll have Kate put it on so you guys can see that. We'll also put it in the comments, but you're going to want to check this video out. 17 ways to get 100% financing. Some of them are creative. Some of them are more difficult than others. Some of them are fairly easy and straightforward. But this is really the mecca of real estate investing, is how can I invest with very little of my own money invested into a deal? It really helps you leverage and helps you get started in the real estate investing game. So check out this video. I know you will enjoy it. Let's talk about loan to values. FHA 95 to 97. Hard money is typically 70% is what you're looking at. The difference between these, again, is the FHA and conventional is basing it upon the as-is value, where the hard money is basing it on the after repaired value. Okay, let's talk bridge loans. Hard money is also known as a bridge type loan or a bridge type lender. The idea is that you get it from where you are to where you want to be. So for example, you're getting it for a property that's in need of work, and you're getting it to the property to where it doesn't need work. You're getting the property fixed up. You're getting it so that you can then refinance the property. Where are you at? A property in need of work that you can't get traditional financing on, and you get it to a point where it does not need work and you can get traditional financing. It's also known as bridge, where you're at to where you want to go. So you may want to buy a property, but it needs a lot of work. And then maybe you want to keep it as a rental. This is a BRRRR strategy. If you haven't seen my BRRRR video, check that one out. I've got a whole video on BRRRRs and how they work. It's well worth your time. We'll put it here for you as well. But you're basically purchasing a home using hard money. This can get you some money to do the rehab. You can then refinance the property with a traditional lender. Once the work is done, the property is rented out. With this strategy, typically the lender is going to go up to like 80% of loan amount because you've only owned the property for less than 6 months. So the hard money was the bridge to get you from where the tenant could take out and you could get the tenant could move in, and then you could get long-term financing. Let's talk about the term of the loan. Traditional loans are for 30 years. Some of them are 15 years. Hard money loans are going to be for 5 to 8 months. Again, it's short term. The whole point of this is to get you from where you are to where you want to be, and getting you money on a property where it's not about your personal credit, and getting you money on a property where you can then do something else with it, refinance it, sell it, whatever you're looking to do. With traditional loans, these are made for homeowners. FHA backs the loan to promote home ownership. They are subsidized with the costs. That's one of the reasons why hard money loans are more expensive. They're short term. You see, if you go get a traditional loan and you pay that loan for 10 years, the lender's going to make an awful lot of money. But if you're looking at a short-term hard money loan, there's just as much work to make that loan, or maybe more, especially when you're dealing with rehab, than you're going to have with just a traditional loan. And there's also more risk. You don't have to credit qualify. You don't have to have experience. The more risk in lending on a property, it basically becomes a future value risk. There's risk on general contractors. There's risk on what the property will be worth once the repairs are done. There's all these risks. There's the risk of cost overruns on the construction. And there's many more risks. These are the reasons why you're seeing hard money extremely more expensive than what you're going to deal with conventional. Conventional rates are around 4%. Hard money rates are 12 to 20%. Origination fees. Traditional origination fee is really around 2%. I put 1 to 2%. Most of the time it's 2%. Hard money lenders are going to be from 3 to 10% when you're dealing with hard money origination. But again, you're able to get a deal that other people aren't able to get, and that a traditional lender is not able to lend on. So how do you get a better deal on hard money is the question. Well, the more experience you have, the more money down you have, the money you put in escrow rehab, the more loans you've done with the same lender in the relationship. Having a low loan to value is going to help you with that. Having a high credit score, even though it's not required, it's going to help a hard money lender say, I think there's less risk here because this guy's got a really good credit score. Those things are going to help you get better pricing when it comes to hard money. Let's talk a little bit about private loans. These are loans not done by banks. These are companies or individuals that do these types of loans. And so what is hard money? Private loans and hard money are used interchangeably in most cases. When people say private money, the difference is they're saying it's a private person rather than a company, but it's basically the same thing. When you're dealing with a private loan, you're just going with an individual versus a company that may be doing it. But most individuals that are doing it have their own company, so it can get a little bit confusing. Just kind of think of it as one and the same. So let's kind of recap here a little bit. What is hard money? Hard money is an asset-based loan. It's a loan based primarily on the property rather than the borrower. The loan is for investment purposes, not for homeowners. This is not a homeowner. The loan for the property may need work, or it just needs to close fast. If a property doesn't need a lot of work and you have time to close and you can qualify for it, you should be getting a traditional loan. They can loan the purchase and the rehab costs. It's a short-term loan, 5 to 8 months, also known as a bridge loan, very similar, or also known as private money. And it's a faster loan than what you can get from going directly to the bank. So the question really here comes down to, how do you get hard money to invest in real estate? And it really comes down to making a relationship, okay? The biggest thing is understanding what the lender will lend on and what they won't lend on. It's one of the biggest problems. Early on when I got started, I would go find a property, I would take it to a hard money lender, and they would say, I'm not interested. And I spent all this time to find a great property. So I'd take it to another hard money, and they said, I'm not interested. And then I finally got smart and said, what will you lend on and what won't you lend on? And then let me go and find properties that meet those criteria. So that's one of the reasons why we've developed what's called our advanced deal analysis software, so that our customers know exactly what's going to be something that can get lent on. And so it's frustrating when you do that and the lender says no to it. And then you've got to find deals that will actually work based upon what the lender wants. So go find your lender first. That's really comes down to. And most lenders are going to do, a single family up to a fourplex. They're not going to want to exceed the FHA loan limits. You can find this out by Googling the FHA loan limits for your county. All right, guys. Riley's got a question here. I'm a 19-year-old and in the process of getting my associate's degree in finance. All right, good for you. Interested in real estate and always looking to learn more. How do you suggest finding a hard money lender? So one thing you can do is check us out. We may be able to help you depending on what area that you're in. Otherwise, I think the best thing you got to do is just go out there and try and find lenders that are actually doing loans in your area. So who's doing loans in the area? You can network with other real estate investors and ask them who they're working with. But one of the best things you can do is talk to title companies or closing attorneys. These are the ones that are actually doing closings, and you can ask them if they have recommendations on where they can get money from. I get a lot of referrals from escrow agents. So, Riley, I hope that's helpful. If not, hit me up again. Our complete system that takes brand new investors through flipping their first home is called our Find Fund Flip system. We have dozens of hours training, deal finding software, access to our 100% financing loans. DoHardMoney.com/get started. If you want to check that out, you can get into our system and see what types of great things we have to offer. Now, I promised this earlier, my free ebook, we sell this for $20 to $25. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to this link, dohardmoney.com/money-ebook, or what can be so much easier is just send us a text with your email address. Just text 435-294-0433. Just text us your email address. And if you text that email address, then you will get emailed a free copy of this book. So go ahead and check that out. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. Let me know that I'm doing a great job. Leave a comment. I really appreciate it. It tells me that you enjoy what I'm doing. Future topics, business partner deep dive. There are a bunch of topics on here. What would you like to see for a future live cast? If you'd like to see something, type it in the comments. Let me know what you would like to see for a future live cast, and we'll put that in and put that, consider that based upon the number of votes that we get as one of our future live casts coming up. If you have enjoyed what you have heard today, share the live cast link on YouTube with a friend or several friends. And also check out my podcast. It's called Income Hacker Podcast. You can find it on wherever you listen to podcasts, on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify. Check out Income Hacker. And if you haven't already, go get a copy of that free ebook. Just text your email address to 435-294-0433. All right, guys, it is time for our winner of the week. So we're going to be doing our t-shirt winner of the week. T-shirt winner, this is for last week. All your comments and those things will go towards next week. I made it through rehab t-shirt, and we have our Do Hard Money mask coming your way as well. So our winner of the week is going to be Oscar DiPezza. Oscar, thank you for being with us last week. If you're in the house today, please let us know. And so we're excited for you to be our winner. Everybody who participates this week and throughout the week will be considered for next week's winner. So if you, Oscar, you need to email us at support@dohardmoney.com. Put in the subject line, you're the shirt winner of the week. Put your screen name, your email, your cell phone number, your shirt size, and we'll get you a free shirt sent out. We're paying for shipping, we're paying for the shirt, paying for all of that. So Oscar, make sure you send us that in as well. All those who participated, find out if you won the shirt for next week. Be here, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you haven't already, please congratulate Oscar on being our t-shirt winner of the week. Next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be covering investing for cash flow versus flipping for profit. Which was better? What should you do? When should you do which? Investing for cash flow versus flipping for profit is what we are going to be talking about next week. All right, guys, if we don't have any more questions, I appreciate all of you being with us today. If you haven't already, please get a copy of that ebook. Just text us at 435-294-0433, and you can get a free copy of the ebook, How to Get More Money You Can Never Handle, and just text us your email address over. Otherwise, make it a very profitable day, and we will see you same time, same place next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.